So I'm pretty sure everyone knows by now that One UI 3 has been out for a couple of weeks now for phones like the Galaxy S20 and whatnot. But sooner than later, a lot of other devices are also going to be supporting it. Phones like the Galaxy S10, the A series devices, M series of devices, a ton of devices, the Notes. So I might as well compile some of my favorite hidden features within One UI 3 and actually tell them to you. And the funny thing is, the very first feature that I just found out, I thought Samsung had this in their software this whole entire time, but that actually didn't end up being the case. And the new feature, which I was surprised it's new, is actually we can now double tap to wake, which we could have already done, but now we can double tap to sleep within One UI 3. So typically when you go ahead and boot up your phone, you can go ahead and double tap and you'll come right here, or you'll get into your lock screen. I have mine set up that it just could boost straight into the page. But now we can go ahead and double tap on the same type of panel now right there. We can double tap anywhere else on the display where there's no app, and we can pretty much just toggle off the screen. And that is something that, like I said before, I thought Samsung had before, but I guess not. Now, if it doesn't come already, enabled within your, One UI 3 update, what you can do is you can go and hop into settings, which is right here. So once you're in settings, what you want to do is you want to scroll down until you see advanced features, which is right here. So go ahead and click here. You'll see a couple of different options, but here you'll see motions and gestures. So what you want to do is click motions and gestures. You'll come into this page. Now all you have to do is make sure this little toggle is turned on. So you can go ahead and enable lift to wake. I'll probably disable that for now. Then you have double tap to turn on the screen. Then you have double tap to turn off the screen. So once you enable that, I don't know if it works everywhere as you can see, but if you double tap on the main panel, you can see that it does sleep the display. So that's something that apparently is new within One UI 3, and that is definitely one of my favorite features that I think a lot of people are going to end up enabling. So that's exactly how you enable that. Now the next thing is not necessarily like a tutorial based thing, but it's still pretty impressive that within One UI 3, within the whole entire stock launcher, I don't know if it's all across the UI. If you install a custom launcher, I don't know if it's enabled there too. But within the stock launcher now, we have the ability of seeing widgets or whether or not a specific app supports a widget. So for example, if we go ahead and hold down the Safari or whatever this browser, not Safari, we can see that we actually have a new little UI thing, but now we have the select option, the remove option, but now we have the widgets option right there. So what we can do is we can go ahead and click on the widgets option. We'll come here and we'll basically be able to see the widgets that this specific app enables. And I tried it on a couple of different ones like the Play Store. As you can see, it doesn't support it. So it just has another type of option there. With phone calls, the same exact thing, no widget option. I'm unsure if the Galaxy Store, as you can see, doesn't have it either. But if an app supports it, it'll basically show you that, it has a widget enabled for it. And I think the camera also doesn't have one, but the browser for some reason has a widget enabled. So within One UI 3, we now have the capability of seeing whether or not a widget is enabled or has a widget just straight from the UI itself. Now another cool thing that was added here was a new privacy feature, which is the permission manager. So basically within this, we can kind of manage, the permissions that each app has. So in order to get here, what you want to do is you want to go into your settings just like here. You want to scroll down until you get into your privacy setting, which is right here. So go ahead and click here. You'll see a couple of different things, but at the very top, the very first thing is the permission manager. So what we can do now is we can go and click on permission manager, and you'll basically be able to see all these different types of permissions and what each specific app has the capability of using. So for body sensors, as you can see, I have 0 apps using 0 things. So basically that means, no apps are using my body sensors. Now the calendar, if you look at calendar and it says 3 of 9 apps allowed, what this basically means is that, 9 apps, wanted to get calendar access, but I only allowed 3 of them to use so. And if you want to see which apps those are, you go ahead and click on it, and you'll basically be able to see which apps have access to each specific permission. So right here you can see I didn't, let these specific apps view my calendar, but I did use these ones. So if let's say I don't want Google anymore, I can go and click there, click deny anyway, and it will not have access to my calendar anymore, and then it moves down here. And you can go down each one of these. So I think the big ones probably most people are going to use are the cameras and the microphones and maybe the location and phone. But I think the camera and the microphone are ones that people are going to constantly run into. So a good thing here is that if you click on camera, apps like Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok and whatever, they do, give you notifications at first like, oh, will you have, can you give us, access to your camera? Sometimes you may accidentally click deny because you don't know what you may be doing at the time. So you may come here and you may see like, oh, Twitter, I wanted to post tweets on or photos on Twitter and it wasn't working. So now you can go ahead and let Twitter have access to your camera by clicking here and click allow only while using the app or ask every time and hop out. And you can now actually move it up here. So now it does have access to it. So the new permissions manager is something that's really, really cool and it just breaks down everything within it. So I think that's something that's really, really awesome. So this is kind of an explanation within the permissions manager. Now the next thing is also really cool and it's also involved with settings, and it's the new notification manager, and more so the notification history settings. So what this basically means is that whenever you get notifications, these new notifications are basically stored in a little notification panel, so you can go ahead and see which notifications were sent at which time. And in order to get there, what you want to do is you want to go into your settings. The very fourth option is notifications right here. So you want to go ahead and click on it. You'll see a couple of different things scrolled out, but what you want to do now is you want to click advanced settings. And then what you'll be able to do is see this new little option called notification history. So what you want to do is you want to go and click on notification history, and you want to go ahead and enable this. So once you go ahead and enable it, you'll basically be able to see your notification history here. Now, as of right now, obviously I don't have any notifications. So if I were to have a notification, it would basically come up right in this little option right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and download an app, and I'm going to see if it even works. Let me go ahead and download this one. Let me go ahead and install it. So I should technically be getting notifications of it. So if I go and scroll down, so as you can see, I did end up getting some notifications just randomly. So this is pretty much what it looks like. This is what it's going to look like when you go ahead and get notifications. So you can see each specific time. So you can see AccuWeather, you can go ahead and see these YouTube comments, and you can see the time that I got them as well. So you can see I just got this one right now to install this. That was 3:24. As you can see, it's whatever time, 3:24. This one I got a couple days ago and, yesterday, and so on and so forth. So you can basically see the history of notifications that you are getting on your device. So that's another huge thing about this. So I think that's really awesome. And again, in order to get there, all you have to do is make sure you have the notification history thing enabled. But obviously, in order to get there, you want to go into your main settings. You want to go ahead and hop into notifications, which is right here. You want to scroll down until you get to advanced settings. You want to click notification history. You want to make sure this is on, and you'll basically be able to see all the notifications that this specific device was getting. Now the next I'm going to show you, which is also extremely cool, is we now have the ability of resizing, our picture-in-picture mode within One UI 3. So before, if we went ahead and got into picture-in-picture mode, we would not be able to resize our specific windows, but we now have the capability of doing so. So let's go ahead and say I go into some random website. Let's say I go to search up this little fool, okay? And I go and search for one of his videos. Let's look up this one. So as you can see, I'm in picture-in-picture mode right now. Well, what you can do is you can go ahead and basically take this little corner right here and drag it up just like this, or you can go ahead and drag it down just like this and resize the windows. Before we couldn't do that. Before we could obviously move the windows around and do all that kind of stuff and obviously hop out of it, but we couldn't actually rearrange the way the window looked. But now we can actually do that. So if you don't even know how to get in picture-in-picture, you get into picture-in-picture by playing that video and hopping out of it on YouTube. But now we can go ahead and drag the little window up, and we can grab the little window down and pretty much resize it that way. So again, if you want to get into it, drag the little corner, push it up, and that'll basically make the little window bigger. And if you want to bring it down, you basically grab that little window and bring it down just like that. So that's exactly how to do that one. Now the last thing I'm going to show you is that low power mode has actually been, upgraded a little bit within One UI 3. So if we go ahead and make our way over to our settings panel once more, and we scroll down into our battery settings, which is down here, battery and device care, we can go and click here, and we'll see a couple of different options. You'll see the optimize now. So if you hop down and go into your status bar right here, you'll basically see the power saving mode. What we can do is we can go and click on it, and it'll go ahead and take us into battery saving mode. But if we hold down on it, you can see that we now have the ability of kind of changing what we want within low power mode within here. And it's changed up just a little bit. So we can have it so it turns off the always on display. We can limit CPU speed to 70%. And I actually want to make a video on the speed difference between this and one that's on low power mode. And then you can decrease brightness by 10%, but you can also limit the apps and the home screen and all that stuff. And you can obviously enable it here, but before it looked a little different. But now it has been updated a little bit within One UI 3. And obviously things like the status bar has been updated, the overall smoothness has been updated too, which is really nice. So One UI 3 I think has been an amazing update so far, and I literally can't wait for the future of One UI for sure. So those are some of my favorite features within One UI 3. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that means so much as well, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much for you guys to hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.